afternoon. Salford versus Hull FC. It was 12-8 to Salford in a surprise at half-time, and it got even more surprising as they rolled out to, in the end, a comfortable 42 points to 14 victory. Scott Michalauskas was the referee. We have incomplete team stats because, as we've come to learn, Ata Hingano doesn't exist. But individually, Ken Seo certainly existed in this one. 4 tries, 6 tackle busts, 229 metres and 2 clean breaks. Joe Burgess with a try assist, 141 metres. Harvey Livette with 1 try, 119 metres. And Josh Johnson with 116 metres. For Hull FC, less standouts there, but Jordan Lane, 46 tackles, and Cam Scott, 5 tackle busts and 104 metres. A few fan views.
Yes, so the first one came from Tom Andrews. As he says, review sent at 7 o'clock pre-Hull KR and Huddersfield. I'm glad you got that clarification in, Tom, because that's very vital to what's coming up next. Since song request reviews are fashionable, can I get a rendition of FC get battered everywhere they go? FC get battered everywhere they go. No, you can't. Only winners get to request things like that.
Always in our shadow said, shit doesn't describe how... Oh, you've set him up there, though, because they're going to beat Lee, aren't they? Make Sarah sing. Always in our shadow said, shit doesn't describe how bad we were. No passion, no leadership, no idea, no excuses.
And Sarah says... Joshua's birthday eve curse strikes again. Scoreline flattered Hull. Salford should have scored more, but passes into touch and errors meant it stayed closer than we deserved. Other than the first carry of the match by Satay knocking out Greenwood, I don't think we broke a tackle. Wynn, Scott and Fash were the best of a very poor 17.
I think it was Ormondroyd, weren't it? So he did well to get all the way up to Ormondroyd's height to knock him out, but yeah... Joshua's granddad said it will be better in the morning, I thought, and no, it's still pathetic. The names all went missing completely. Out enthused by Salford, so hard to find positives. Win looked good. Fash did what Fash does. Never seen so many bad balls thrown from dummy half. No wonder no one could go forward, and yet we went up one place. That was definitely not sent pre-Hull KR versus Huddersfield.
This is... I don't really have much to say about this game other than this is part 1 of 3 in what were you thinking round.
What, in terms of predictions? Or
Well, no, I'm not having that because although I did go at 2 out of 6, which I think is pretty common, or maybe worse. The predictions were completely reasonable.
Yeah.
We picked teams who had something to play for, who were playing teams who had nothing to play for. The results should have been obvious. It shouldn't have even been a question. They've all kind of played at similar times.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. And all 3 of them managed to absolutely fuck it up, let's be honest. And this has to go down as... Yeah, this is as bad as it gets, really.
I think it's the most emphatic one of the lot, and after how easy the Hull's first try was, you'd be thinking it would have been a regulation win for Sal. I listened to this one on the radio whilst I was weeding my driveway, and I thought, oh, I'm going to listen now to Hull win. Then go and watch Wigan lose, and then all be out of the 6 and all this doom and gloom. But no, I mean, Sal walked in barely touched. In fact, barely even threatened at being touched, even though it was right in the middle of the field. He started under the sticks, he finished under the sticks, he kind of went 10 metres wide and then back in, but he didn't really have to do anything, and no one's tried to stop him from doing it. And you just thought it's going to be one of those games that would go as you would expect. Not to be. On the commentary, the highlight showed way more involvement from Lola here than I picked up on the radio commentary. But it did feel like the outside backs of Salford were working really particularly strongly. Sargentson and Burgess and Inu and Siu. Now, CO's second try of the game. This was fairly bloody special, I'd say. So Lola here starts it, doesn't he, with a little run, and then I think it must be the last tackle, so he gets an offload away. It's a decent enough offload. It lands in Chris Atkins' hands. He puts a wide kick out to the left. It's patted back by Burgess, who was dominant in the air, it seemed, in this game for large parts. Other than a couple of them didn't bounce his way or what have you, but he seemed pretty strong in the air. Back to Sargentson. Hull had loads of defenders over there though, so Sargentson didn't try and jink and footstep his way through like he often would look to do. He instead put another kick in right the way back to the other side of the pitch. CO catches it cleanly, no real contest at all for there, and he just kicks for himself to dot down with no one left at home behind the defensive line. It was, what a try.
Yeah, you've got to say Salford were enterprising the entire match. They were the team that were taking chances. Yes, they haven't got anything to play for, and I guess you could say that the flip side of that is that they don't have any, there's no nerves necessarily. They can just kind of play their game. But yeah, they were way better than Hull. Way better. The scoreline isn't particularly flattering. Although obviously there was a bit of a late Salford score when FC were playing patty cake and trying to desperately get scores back. But yeah, no, it was absolutely comprehensive as far as I could tell.
Yeah, and the scoreline did stretch out a little bit in the last 20 minutes, but I think the Atkin try was the one that kind of gave the sign that it wasn't going to go Hull FC's way, because that was so easy. That was the easiest try Salford scored. It was a 6 again. He picks up the ball at dummy half on the 6 again call, and all the defenders just shoot out like he's obviously only capable of passing, and he just walks past them and puts the ball down. It's fairly basic, but Joe Burgess got a deserved try, even though the cut-out ball from the string puller in chief Lola here was a bit floaty. Could have been called forwards on another day, but I think Burgess deserved his try. And Inu is bad for victim shaming, but he's good for interceptions. Set up CO's long range fourth and final try, didn't he? Just came out of nowhere to intercept that pass and get the offload away for CO to have a clear run, 80-minute run. It was comprehensive, and that exclamation mark on it from CO was deserved.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about this one in the end.
Nope.
Next one, slightly closer, you would say, and a slightly unusual score. I had to check the highlights to find out exactly how this ended up as it was. But later in the day, it was Wakefield against Leeds. It finished Wakefield 20, Leeds 13. It was 12-6 to Leeds at half-time, and Chris Kendall was the man in charge. Incomplete team stats. Somebody missing, obviously.
Guess Bodie and Thompson, he's normally missing from Leeds.
Yeah, we really need to stop looking at team stats if they can't be bothered to upload team players who've been in the league all year. For Wakefield, Innes Senior had 166 metres. Eddie Batty with 131 metres. David Fafita with a try assist, 5 tackle busts and 119 metres with 3 offloads. And Ryan Hampshire had 116 metres. For Leeds, Ash Handley had 132 metres and Cam Smith made 42 tackles.
Dr. Bob Phillips said, I've said before that 40 minutes of it is enough for rugby for some matches, and this was clearly the approach the Rhinos had in this one. Well, 60 anyway. Some more holding onto the ball and stopping the opposition getting metres practice is required.
Tom Andrews says, pouching the West Yorkshire Wayne Bennett. Clearly Wakey are the best team in West Yorkshire at the moment.
Yeah, poaching's got him playing, hasn't he?
It certainly has.
What's that, 3 wins out of 4 for him? That's pretty good going.
Yeah, they're playing for him.
Leighton Rhino said, thought we got moved around. That's a lucky surname, isn't it, given who we went on to support? So thought we got moved around the field too much. Leno's supposed to be rubbish, but him and Miller were great. Playing quarter of the game with 12, told at the end. Fans crucifying Kendall was horseshit. Players know what refs have been told on tackling now and need to change. See Stevie Ward's latest on it today. Why didn't we take a bloody drop goal on the last play? By the way, we lived near Waddesdon Manor. Funny to hear it on SLP. Oh, There you go.
It's a small world.
Yeah. You can tell that I hadn't read all of these before, or any of these, before we started recording, because I'm now looking up what did Stevie Ward say.
Well, we're always anchorman here. We always just read it as we're read it as it's said, and try to represent it fairly. But yeah,
I don't know what Stevie Ward said. I'm sorry, I can't find it.
I mean,
if you didn't say it on Twitter, I don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna guess. I don't know. I'm gonna guess it might be something to do with concussions and players kind of being relaxed after contact or after passing the ball type stuff. That's a total guess.
The sin bin that I only listened to the second half because I was listening to Salford before. I missed the sin bins in the first half, the one to Pryor, but on the highlights it looks fair to me. He certainly gets Tom Johnston in a dangerous position and he comes down dangerously. I think I'm a bit surprised the match review panel didn't do anything more about it, but often when there's two other players in the tackle, the match review panel find it hard to pin enough blame to pin a suspension on one of the players, I guess. So maybe that's the way that went on this one. And the other sin bin-ins were two players went off at this, one from each side, didn't they? And I sort of feel was it Green? Chris Green was the Wakefield player. I sort of feel he was a little bit unlucky because he kind of grabbed at Pryor as a late-ish hit, but it wasn't a full-blooded tackle or anything. He pulled out of that aspect of it, but he didn't not touch him, as it were. And Pryor just started a fight, basically. But we've seen so much this year that refs only seem to want to send people off from both sides, especially if they're not exactly sure on where the instigation and retaliation was. And certainly I can't be sure without, I didn't see every angle or anything like that. I just saw the one highlights angle. But it seemed like the kind of call we're seeing consistently this year where comings together are being punished with sin bins. So certainly in the last month or so we've seen that regularly. So I don't think there can be any arguments for me.
No. I mean, yeah, it seemed completely fair enough for me. Two teams that can kick good drop goals. That's a good thing. I think that might come more in handy for Leeds than Wakefield as the next few weeks go on. But that's assuming Leeds can actually pull the finger out and win some games that they need to win.
Well, they scored the better tries in the game. Give them that accolade. The Leeming try was probably the best try with good work from Tom Briscoe, and they scored the better tries in the game. I think the bounce of the ball favoured Wakefield more, but from listening to the game, it didn't ever feel like Leeds were in control. Even when I started listening, they were ahead. It never felt like they were in control, and Wakefield seemed to get into position for the drop goals pretty straightforwardly. Really?
Yeah, it just feels like such a weird result after what was such a professional and competent performance the week before. It's just to then drop a game against a team that have got nothing to play for. It's just
When you're without key players, I guess you're gonna struggle for consistency. No matter how well Leeming's played at 7 or the young forwards have done when they've come into the side, I think there's always going to be a part of it that's that. But poaching's the story from this game for me, in many ways, because how he's got this team. It doesn't look great for Chester, does it? He's got this team going like this. He's got Tanganoa and Fafita firing like they haven't fired all season. Although to spread credit around, Chris Chester got those two players to play their best ever rugby that they've played, sort of thing, over the last 2 years. So clearly they just need a change of voice more regularly. Those guys like that, maybe, I don't know. But poaching's doing. He's got the job, hasn't he? Surely he's got the job. In fact, he might be able to start kind of putting his own demands on. He's got the job that convincingly.
Well, he's not doing himself any harm, is he? It just